Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. I'm your host with another exciting episode of What's in My Room. So, I missed two films on my last video that I've gotten outside of sellers that I just buy from, and wanted to go on about them and a couple more things. So I've been collecting Shudder original films, which Shudder is a streaming channel, and evidently they've gotten into distribution in a sense with RLJE films. So here I have Gwen, which is directed by William McGregor, and I guess it stars Maxine Peake, Eleanor Worthington Cox. Gwen is a young girl whose life seems to be collapsing around her. Struggling with her mother's mysterious illness, her father's absence, and a group of angry villagers threaten to take her farm. Gwen must find the strength to guide the family through the darkness, but as a malevolent presence begins to take grip of her home, it becomes apparent there is a greater evil that may be too strong to overcome. So there we have Gwen. Next I have another copy of a film called The Suffering Bible 2, Dead Butterfly, which this is from Jan Chaos's DIY Productions. It is number 14 out of 30, and I would have gotten in trouble on Facebook with posting this one. So Dead Butterfly, the Prophecy of Suffering Bible. An angel redeems the sins of lost souls, religion, madness, violence, and extreme body art. This is Dead Butterfly. So it's supposedly an extremely gory film. There was, from what I understand, a Blu-ray that came out from Sub Rosa Cinema called A Suffering Bible 2. I wonder if it's the same thing. I did not, as of yet, get that. One thing I know about Ron Bonk is he has not, from Brad Twigg, as I understand, come through on giving him money that was aforementioned, said to be given to him as part of being able to distribute through him. Evidently, filmmakers are supposed to get money through parts of the sales, and evidently he hasn't followed through on that. So I don't know what's going on there. But I just recently put money into a Marion Davies campaign. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it here that maybe I can show it to you. But there's a guy who evidently is a private collector, um, who yeah, here it is. Robes of Sin from I don't know if you can see that, but um, Robes of Sin from 1924, Edward LaRusso. Evidently, he must be a private collector of some sort, and he collects silent films. And what he does is he tries to get these silent films remastered and put into like the fray. And I found 3 of his Kickstarter DVDs that he's done in the past through another private collector. And he sent me the 3, but he also sent me a bunch of bootlegs of Marion Davies films. So the first one is from Grapevine Video, evidently. It's getting married with Marion Davies. John Emerson and Anita Loa and Alan Duane production. Young Mary feels like a prisoner in the New York apartments of her stepfather, John Boussard, but everything changes when her heartless guardian dies in an accident. Mary is left a fortune, but only if she can fulfill her stepfather's will by remaining unmarried and living with his brother Amos. Family for a year. Of course, if Mary refuses or is unable to do so, the fortune instead goes to Amos, and he has been waiting years for a chance at his brother's money. Amos has plans to get the money, and when handsome bachelor James Winthrop shows up, Mary might really be in trouble. Evidently, it's 65 minutes with a story by David Knutson. And it includes a short subject from 1917. This film is from 1919, Getting Married. Mary's Mary Mix-Up from 1917 with Billy Rhodes and Jay Belasco, which is around 11 minutes. So evidently, this was this DVD has a copyright of 2013. Next, I have April Folly with Marion Davies. It's what it looks like. And this one says Marion Davies stars as April Poole, a woman who masquerades as Lady Diana to deliver a famous diamond to Cape Town, South Africa. Along the way, she finds adventure and romance. The bonus picture on here is a rare short called A Two-Cylinder Courtship from 1917, starring Billy Rhodes and Jay Belasco. Again, this is produced by Edward LaRusso, and the music was performed and composed by Ben Model and Ed LaRusso, and it was preserved by the Library of Congress. The content was copyrighted in 2017, so thought that was kind of interesting. That wasn't actually too long ago. Next, I have Marion Davies in The Bride's Play. So Marion Davies stars as a bride at an Irish wedding according to custom. She asks each man if he is the one she loves best, but when the man she truly loves disappears, everyone is in for a big surprise. Again, this is produced by Edward LaRusso. Um, Music was composed and performed by Ben Model, preserved by the Library of Congress, and this was copyrighted in 2016. This, at least this DVD. Um, so yeah, those were the Kickstarter things. That was in 2016, 2000, and that was probably an older one with Grapevine Video. Next, I have Marion Davies and Robert Montgomery, Blonde in Blonde of the Follies. Blondie, a New York tenement dweller, and Lurianne are best friends. When Lurianne makes the cast of a big Broadway show, she arranges for Blondie to join the cast as well. But the friendship goes awry when Lurlane, not Lurianne, Lurlane. Lurlane's sweetheart, wealthy Larry Belmont, catches Blondie's act and falls for the fair-haired newcomer. Though she is attracted to Larry as well, Blondie spurns the attentions out of loyalty to her friend, but the attraction proves to be stronger. The attraction proves to be stronger than any of them could have imagined. So there we have Blondie of the Follies. And again, that is a bootleg, but and yet, as you can see, they're printed. So, next I have Marion Davies in Enchantment. I'm not going to read. The frothy experiences of a vain little flapper. Her father induces an actor friend to become a gentlemanly caveman, and the film becomes another variation of the Taming of the Shrew theme. There we have Enchantment. Next, the true story of Marion Davies, captured on film. Evidently, that's a two-disc thing, even though it was part of the Milestone collection. It's out of print. Again, apparently, someone actually wrote them on here. So someone must have made a VCD out of them. Then, of course, I have The Fair Coed. Early appearances by Lou Costello, Joel McRae, Jacques Tournier, and William Haynes. Marion Davies, Tilly the Toiler. And evidently this is a Tilly the Toiler is a 1927 silent film comedy produced by Cosmopolitan Productions and released through Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. It is based on Russ Westover's popular comic strip, Tilly the Toiler. The film was directed by Robert Henley. All right. Next I have Marion Davies in Lights of Old Broadway. Lights of Old Broadway is a 1925 drama film directed by Monta Bell. The film stars Marion Davies and Conrad Nagel. It is an adaptation of the play The Merry Wives of Gotham by Lawrence Ayr. Plot: Marion Davies plays twins separated at birth. Anne becomes a society girl in New York, and Felly becomes an Irish poor girl turning to the musical world. Dirk, played by Conrad Nagel, Anne's half-brother, falls in love with the poor sister, and with the added inconvenience that Anne's family owns the slum in which the Irish families live. So there we have that one. Then we have Marion Davies in Janice Meredith. Interesting cover. It is 1774, the eve of the American War of Independence. Janice comes from a Tory household. She cavorts with American and British alike, is pursued by Charles Pounds, patriot and friend of General Washington. Fields is a comic drunken British sergeant. So there we have Janice Meredith. Next, I have a film that says it's called Hearts Divided, 1936. I don't have a cover for it, but Napoleon needs money to fight his wars in Europe, so he wants $20 million for the Louisiana Territory in the United States to help the negotiations. He sends his brother Jerome to the U.S. on a goodwill tour. At a Maryland horse track, Jerome shows up without notice and soon wins an afternoon tour with Betsy. He falls for her, but she will have little to do with him. She is currently being courted by Henry, John, and Henry. The next day, Jerome gets a job teaching Betsy French, and they soon fall in love. The family dissuades this as they believe that he is but a tutor. But they meet again at a reception in Washington. Betsy consents to marriage, but Napoleon wants Jerome to marry into European royalty and demands that Jerome do what is best in the best interests of France. So there we have Hearts Divided from 1936. Marion Davies and Peg O' My Heart. Peg and her father live a simple life in an Irish fishing village. One day, Sir Gerald arrives at the village to tell Pat that Peg is heir to the estate of her grandfather who hated Pat. The upshot of the will is that she must go to England for 3 years to learn to be a lady and that Pat can never see her again. Pat does not tell Peg about his part of the will and sends her to live with Mrs. Chichester for her education. Peg soon finds that Alaric needs to marry her, but she wants Gerald, who is engaged to Ethel, who wants Brent, whose wife will not divorce him. Peg O' My Heart. And that was 1933. Next, I have Marion Davies and Not So Dumb. And according to this is from 1930. Tagline, a laugh in every line and a howl in every scene. The comedy hit of the talking screen. Not so smart chatterbox, Ducey Parker, does and says all the wrong things, but they write themselves to prove she's not so dumb at all. Directed by King Vidor. And last but not least, this disc supposedly it says this DVD includes a clip from Marion Davies' film Adam and Eva. And evidently it's just a written thing. So, yeah. There I have it. My small little video on some of the silent films and some of the 2 other films that had gotten outside of one of my regular sellers boxes that he sent to me. So the next video should start the 2 boxes that I have had here sitting for about 2 months now. I've just had a lot going on. So thank you so much for listening to my prattle about these films. I have not seen these yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking out some of the silent films that are here and that era. I'm sure that they are very enlightening of the time. Very light. Some of them seem like they have some heavy content. So, in any case, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Appreciate your time spent on my page. Thank you so much. Enjoy. I will definitely have some more exciting stuff for you next time around. Thank you.
You were good, kid. Real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?